Hey girl, you up? Always is the answer. My name is Anna. I am 40 plus and fabulous. I became unexpectedly single and thrown out there in the jungle of online dating. I was like shocked, amazed, confused. I laughed, I cried. I am not a dating coach. I am not a relationship expert. I am an expert in nothing apart from going on apparently bad dates. Episode 1. Why are you single? I have invited some experts that maybe help me answer that. They are the creators and founders of loveonpurpose.com. They also have a brilliant new book called Getting It Right This Time, Break Free from Your Hidden Blocks to Lasting Love. Please meet Orna and Matthew Walters, because I cannot wait to get down to business. What is happening out there?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yes. I mean, you go online, you get in any forum where people are talking about dating, and all we hear is how frustrated everybody is and how hard dating is and how everybody seems crazy.
Yeah.
And people don't want to date. They want to go straight to the mate.
I wanted to ask, like, how did you have a whole business about helping people finding love. Like, why are you helping us?
We're all sort of sold this ridiculous myth from the minute we pop out of the womb, right? We're told that everything in life worth having, we should get a skill set and get educated and practice and to do all this stuff, except love.
We spent years trying to figure it out.
And so I shared my journey to Matthew. Matthew shared his journey to me. And then we put together a weekend workshop called Creating Love on Purpose. And what's in the book is truly our system. We call it our soul mating system. Because saying that we help people find their beloved life partner, people often mistake and think we're matchmakers. We don't do any matching because everything we do is working with an individual. We always say when you have an inner shift, then your outer world experience changes.
Got it. So you're really matching people with their true self.
Correct.
I love that. That's a great way to say it.
For 40 plus singles, obviously something didn't work out.
If you're looking for the other person to ease your loneliness or heal your heart, or fill that hole inside of you, whatever it is, then you're going to pick dysfunctional situations over and over and over again.
And the first phase is really awareness, because the book itself is broken into 3 acts, 3 parts to the book. And that first phase, awareness, is the work that most people don't want to look at doing.
It's uncomfortable to look at the stories you have about your bad relationships.
Yeah.
And, the heartbreak and the frustration and all of that, and to look at the pain there. Sometimes it's really difficult. But in looking at it and just being honest about it and saying, well, this happened and I chose that, and this happened and I chose that, and this is the way I behaved there, you can start to see patterns.
I've been distracting myself, having gone through a really rough breakup, which, and again, I'm a pragmatic person. I'm a business person. I'm a director. So I identify with that Anna because she worked really fucking hard at becoming or whatever she became. I have to, at some point, to pull myself out of my breakup misery and, being on the floor and crying. Like, I didn't like her too much because you almost have to create a character when you go through extreme breakup to function. And I didn't like her anymore. So I started applying my executive Anna, how about that, to dating. And I just started going on dates after date after date after date without doing much of that work, I'll be honest, because it was distracting. Right. I was looking for a distraction.
Right.
And at the same time, I knew
that's not the ideal place to date from. I'm looking from a distraction from my heartbreak. Let me go date.
I was tired of it because I can tell you, heartbreak is fucking exhausting.
It is.
And I was exhausting. And I hate when people go over and heal. Oh, you need to heal first. Can I tell you, where am I going? In that corner?
No.
That corner?
No. This corner.
Yeah, but
this one.
In it, Orna, for so long.
No, that's the emotion. That is not what's in here.
Well, I wanted to get rid of it, so I needed a distraction. Does that make sense? It's exhausting.
But see, the difference is every piece, the through line to everything that you've brought up is judgment. And judgment is 100% the biggest block to love.
Okay. You mean I'm judging myself for feeling that way?
Yeah.
One of the journeys in the book is a journey of self-acceptance.
Okay.
Right. And self-acceptance is so important because how often are we beating ourselves up?
Yep.
or something we said or did. And
Oh my
I
God.
can't believe I said that again, right?
6th grade, I can go lay down in bed and I'll be like, I still feel bad what I did to like Jonna in 6th grade and I should have handled it differently. Maybe that's a unique female thing. I don't know. But I will rehash things that happened 20 years ago and I'll be like, I feel bad about that. And then I package it back away. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and you've got to forgive that little girl.
Yeah.
And you bring her grace because she was doing the best she could with the resources she had. All of our behavior at its root has positive intent.
Okay.
Even the alcoholic,
Yeah.
right, is trying to get something they need. Right?
Yeah.
It's not the best strategy.
Right. So intent is always good, even if it's bad consequences, you think, in the human nature.
I think all of human nature has positive intent. Nobody is trying to hurt themselves. Even people who are harming other people are trying to do it so they feel safe.
The intent of our behavior is always positive, but the result is not necessarily positive. The
But it could
result can be a negative
intent
result.
is positive for me.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
You have a crappy strategy.
right.
You have a crappy strategy for getting what you need. But when you're able to say, okay, I get it. This part of me is trying to make me feel better.
Uh-huh.
And the strategy I'm using doesn't work.
Right.
Do
Or
I beat
we're-
myself up because I have a bad strategy? Because what we're really beating ourselves up is because we think we're a bad person.
If you're hard on yourself, you will also judge a partner harshly. And so if you can't even live up to your own expectations, then a partner can't live up to those expectations either. People set the bar too high to even just go meet for a date. It's
Yeah.
just a date.
It's just a date.
It's just a date.
I mean, it's really just an event, right?
It's
I mean,
really
yeah.
like
It's coffee, it's a cocktail.
I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even count a first meet as a date number one. Date number one is
Oh, it
after you've already
doesn't
met.
count.
No, it doesn't count as one. It's 0. It's the ground floor.
Oh, so if everybody's intent is me, and focusing on themselves, then how do we ever then meet in the middle?
Because most of the intent of our behavior is to feel loved, approved, and accepted. It's like an umbrella of love, right?
Okay.
So it's not romantic love. It's the big umbrella of what love is.
Let's just say, because we're talking about dating, we're talking
Yep.
about love and relationship.
Yep.
Let's say everybody's intent is to find love.
Mhm.
If your strategy was one of selfishness, well, you're not going to find love.
Right.
It's not a good strategy for meeting your intent.
Right.
And that's the point we want to really emphasize here. A friend of mine actually told me much later in life that she used to refer to me as the toxic bachelor. And I was the toxic bachelor. I was commitment phobic. I would just disappear on people. I would chase after rejection.
Oh.
I would
I think I've
try to get
dated you.
sex on the first date.
Oh.
I'm sure.
You are my dates. And
Exactly.
I'm dating.
Exactly.
I am going for gold in the Olympics of dating. I have met you many times.
But I didn't think of myself that way.
How did you think about yourself?
I thought I was just looking for love and connection.
Oh.
And, hopefully I could get some sex along the way.
Was no one good enough? Like, what was the thing? Like,
I wasn't good enough.
But you didn't know that at the time, of course.
Okay, so I say it this way, that if I ever met somebody who was really interested in me,
Yeah.
who said, wow, you're really cute, you're really smart, my first thought would be, what's wrong with you? My second thought would be,
Interesting.
well, wait till you get to know me. We'll see how much you like what's going on here. Because I didn't like myself. And so, of course, I'm not available for a relationship
Interesting.
because I would reject whatever would come along.
Interesting.
And it only was, and this is why I'm emphasizing self-acceptance, because that was my journey. Learning to go, you know what? I have these behaviors, I have these strategies, and maybe they're not the best and whatever, but I still like myself. And I can still love those strategies that get me such bad results because the strategy is trying to get me something I need. And so instead of judging it, instead of judging myself and saying, why do you keep doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you such a jerk? Right?
Yeah.
I can say, oh, I get it. That part of me, that's what I learned when I was a kid to try to be safe in my family or to try to, feel acceptance at school or whatever it was. It was a strategy I learned a long time ago.
Oh.
And so why should I beat myself up for something that little kid learned how to do?
Right.
And that's what I say to you when you think about that girl, when was it 6th grade, you said? Mm-hmm. Right? Why beat yourself up because of who she was? She was doing her best.
Right.
She didn't know any better.
So when we say self-acceptance, it's really going, oh, see how you softened and opened up as I told the story about myself.
Yeah.
Right? You felt compassion for me.
Yeah.
Can you do that for yourself?
Right. Oh, that's that's deep. I mean, the answer is yes, but it's also opened up a whole new layer of, Lord, I have so much work to do.
If there was some kind of magic, fairy dust that we
I
could sprinkle
know.
on you and like heal your heart and like
Yeah.
now send you off into the world to date properly,
Yeah.
sure, we would do that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist,
Oh.
right?
But we do have a system for healing heartbreak.
Yeah.
See, I mean, this is like a whole
Yeah.
Because
playlist.
healing
Yeah.
your heart is that when your heart actually breaks,
Yeah.
it breaks open to hold more love.
Okay.
That's what real healing does.
The only thing I want to say is like my person, I loved him and I thought he was the one. I could not have loved this man anymore. And he cheated on me. So that was a hard thing to come back from. I cannot fix someone else. And I think I try to fix him perpetually.
You can't fix somebody else, but the idea is you don't need to fix somebody else. So when people say dating is broken or the dating apps suck or blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. A dating app is a tool to meet people in real life for a date. That's all it is. It's a tool. It's an inanimate object.
Yeah.
So it is neither good nor bad.
Yeah.
If you are not using the tool properly, you will probably have trouble with that tool. What we're talking about is the dating process is supposed to be a process, and it's a selection process.
That, okay.
And it is just as important to know who to deselect
Okay.
as it is to know who to continue to be curious about as you move forward through a process of selecting somebody. Getting to know a person and decide they're your person. Oh my gosh, that takes time.
I mean,
There is no
Yeah.
such thing as instant intimacy.
genuinely learning things here by the second. I'm at the tail end of my healing. I've gone through like my whole phase, my drunken phase, calling friends and telling the same story 100 times. The anger for me is the last piece.
You can have all the compassion in the world for another person, but sometimes you need solid boundaries if they're toxic. So
Yeah.
compassion and empathy doesn't mean you open the door
I mean-
to this person coming back into your life. It just means it allows you to forgive them and keep the door closed.
What you're saying is a lot of work to do with myself. I won't find the right person. I thought it was just down to algorithm. Damn you, Bumble. Maybe it wasn't.
In your app, are notifications on? Are they pinging you all day long?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm also sometimes, and we're not going to fault people for this. Sometimes we're just looking for a good time.
I have no
Like,
judgment about that.
you know,
we
yeah.
don't judge.
I'm sorry for a little bit of both.
Yeah, if you want
Yeah.
to just have a good time, and even if you just want to go and hook up, whatever,
Yeah.
we have zero judgment about that.
Right.
But the process of finding an ideal partner to share your life with,
Which is different. Yeah.
that is a different. You don't expect a hookup to turn into
No.
a relationship, and don't expect a friends with benefits is going to turn into a relationship.
Yes.
I mean,
learn
all
that.
of these you want
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
however many people you buy,
But it's not going to lead anyway from
Don't-
that part.
It's
Right.
that's about knowing if you have the expectation when you're in that space of like, I am ready. Because
Okay.
I know for me, when I realized I really wanted a great love relationship, I was like, but I don't know how to do that. And so I decided I'd become a student. I was going to become a student of love. But the place to date from is on the other side of a healing process. Forgiveness isn't about the other person.
I know people
Forgiveness
say that.
is
Oh, no,
for
I
you.
will never forgive this fucker, and I don't care. I think forgiveness is overrated. People say it's for yourself.
You
it's
can
not for him.
forgive, but you don't. I
Yeah.
would never tell you to forget.
Yeah.
No, forget. And it doesn't mean you need that person in your life. But when you look for the golden nugget, there's a golden nugget that teaches you from that relationship, that changes you, that moves you forward on your journey to your beloved. And that's when you step into true forgiveness.
Mhm.
Because from that place, you feel whole again instead of feeling shattered.
And this,
That needs to be another word. I have a genuine problem with forgiveness. I'm sorry.
so
I have a
let's say-
genuine fucking problem with
let's
it.
say it this way.
Yeah.
It's not about forgiving him. It's about forgiving yourself for being duped by him.
The being mad at myself for not spotting the signs earlier that he cheated, that I let go after about 2-3 months. It took 2-3 months because you feel duped, and then you realize that when someone made it their full-time job to lie, wake up at 6:30, coffee, start lying, go to work, lunch, more lying, 3 p.m. coffee, more lying. It is a full-time job for a cheater to lie to you. So I will no longer make any fucking excuses for being duped. I was dumb and gullible. And a cheater, the last thing I want to say about that is that they know if they tell the betrayed partner the truth, the betrayed partner is likely going to leave. So they were holding information on purpose. It's cruel and it's evil. And I have a hard time ever letting that go. So forgiveness is not going to happen for me.
But forgiveness is for you because it gives you peace, not just in your mind, but in your heart and in your soul on all levels. When you step into that place of
Yeah.
peace, You claim your power back from that experience.
Speaking of experiences,
Mhm.
dating, as someone who dates a lot, so hopefully my heart gets healed and I use your tools, but I'm still going to go out there and date because, them the rules. What are your tips for dating? Like day 1, 2, 3, like how am I navigating and how are like our listeners navigating this? What can you tell us about going on first date, second date, third date?
Well, you want to slow down the dating process.
Okay.
We're all in a hurry.
Yeah.
We're in a hurry to find our person so that we don't have to keep dating.
Accurate.
And when you're approaching it that way, you're ignoring all the stuff that you need to be paying attention to, especially in the other person's behavior, right? And you're ignoring your own patterns about what's showing up. So we always say, slow down and get present to yourself first.
Okay.
What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's going on with you when you're sitting across from that other person?
Yeah.
If you find them attractive, are you behaving differently than if you didn't find them attractive?
1,000%.
Right. So you're not authentic right away.
Oh,
You're not being authentic
What?
because you're a different person depending on who's sitting across from you.
100%. Like I just want that connection. I just want the ZAZA Zoo. I want I love that. I want the ZAZA Zoo. I want to feel something on the first date. That is my bar.
That is like, are we doing 2 thumbs down?
Yeah.
That is actually, let's give it 4.
Yeah.
4 thumbs down.
To the ZAZA Zoo.
Yeah.
The whole, I need a connection on the first date.
I don't. This is my whole.
You do not need a
If I
connection.
don't feel it, I'm
No,
out.
here is the low bar, not an axe murderer. That is your low bar.
Hey, kids out there, not an axe murderer. That's going to be my new bio.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
that's your new biography.
Yeah, there you go.
Not an axe murderer. Because
Really?
yes, because here's the thing. Our most unpopular piece of advice
Yeah.
is attraction is not a requirement for a date. It's just
Okay.
a date. You don't need chemistry and attraction to go meet somebody. As a matter of fact, when you open up the dating pool, you get to evaluate yourself differently. Dating is practice. It's practice for a relationship. Now, I do want to say chemistry is a requirement for a relationship,
Okay.
but not for a date.
So we-
as a matter of fact, you could go on 3, 4, 5, 6 dates with somebody you don't feel a spark with.
yeah. Oh, I want
yeah.
to do that. Then I feel like I'm leading him on.
Oh, no, you're not.
No, we're actually not leading him on. We see this all the time. Well, you're only leading him on if you're leading him on.
Well, but how do I then?
So, for example, let me tell you.
Okay.
Now, you don't say, wow, why did I waste this hour with you? You're such a jerk. I got to leave.
Yeah.
It's not black and white like that.
Yeah. I never
There's
do that.
plenty
Yeah.
of ways you can say, wow, I appreciate meeting you. And this was a great restaurant.
I always say that.
You can
I'm in
find
the
something
world.
positive to say
I
that
am.
isn't encouraging to the other person. Because what you want to be above anything else is you want to be authentic.
Yeah.
And what authenticity means is that you speak how you feel,
Yes.
regardless of the expectations of the other person.
Yes. So when I send that to them and I say, hey, they normally I get a text and say, Hannah, I had such a great time and I would love to see you again. And I'll say, thank you so much. I think you're an amazing person and talented and funny, but I don't think there's a romantic connection there. And I wish you all the best.
But you don't have enough data. And so the data is just as important about expanding your zone of what's possible.
Oh.
So is you want to go in the dating lab. Like we have clients that literally put things on their profile that say, I'm in the dating lab. I'm looking to meet in real life. Who wants to meet me in person?
The dating lab. Okay.
Mhm.
So if I don't, so I go on a date, let's say he's not bad, but there isn't any ZAZA or any connection, right? Which according to you is, I shouldn't have that anyway on the first date then. Like
So-
what happens if we do that? Some people I walk in and they sit down and I just go, oh,
You want to,
ZAZA.
you want to beware of instant intimacy.
Oh, just like, ooh.
You want to, that's when your little
That's
spotty
good.
sense should go up and
That's
say,
right.
slow down, pay attention, because
Why?
especially if you have a pattern of bad relationships or relationships that don't work out, or choosing emotionally unavailable people, or choosing
cheaters or addicts,
or narcissists, you got to pay attention to that instant
Oh.
intimacy, because that is your subconscious mind saying, this is familiar, this is familiar, this is
No.
familiar.
Yes.
And it's a heightened signal, and we misinterpret that signal as excitement and attraction, when what it is, it's a warning. It's the red lights going, pay attention.
So that our own brain is fucking us basically.
Yes.
It's, well, It's not. It's
Always.
doing what it's supposed to do.
I'm going with this line.
Look, our subconscious mind has one task.
Yeah.
Only one. And
Okay.
remember, the subconscious dominates the majority of our behavior. It
Okay.
controls like 90% or plus of our behavior.
That's terrifying.
The
Go
things
ahead.
we do,
Yeah.
right? And it has one job. It's a very low bar. That bar is to keep you alive. That's it.
Well, the
It's
last.
supposed to keep you alive. That's
Okay.
all it's supposed to do. So
Uh-huh.
how does it do that? Because this is the best computer on earth.
Yeah.
It is literally in this moment taking in over 2 million bits of information. The light on your face, your seat in the chair, the temperature in the room, the touch of those cards in your hand, your fingers touching each other, whatever,
Wow.
everything that's happening in this moment is like 2 million bits of information for your subconscious mind.
Okay.
And it will find what is familiar because we have a behavioral homeostasis. Now, we have a physical homeostasis. Body temperature, too hot, too cold, we die. Blood pressure, heart rate, too high, too low, we die. So we have to stay in the Goldilocks zone to stay alive.
Okay.
But the subconscious uses the same process of the law of association.
Okay.
It says this is like that, but it does it so fast. So when you get a ZAZA zoo, your brain is lighting you up saying, this is familiar, and it has no idea if familiar is good nor bad because the subconscious can't judge. That only happens in our big prefrontal cortex.
Uh-huh.
Familiar, if you've not had the kind of relationship you want, is not necessarily bad like dangerous, but it's bad as in it's not going to get you the lasting love you want. So you're likely to pick the same kind of person if you're only going for the thing that is lighting you up. It's a different experience.
I get it. You want to like have a dating account for my subconscious and another dating account for Anna because clearly we should not be together.
Well,
Like-
that's why you want to slow
Yeah.
things down.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
can pay attention to these
Okay.
things, right? So
That's terrifying.
what happens to most people,
We're fucked, everybody.
here we
Okay,
go.
go
What
ahead.
happens to most people is they're riding what we call the hope to disappointment roller coaster. And that's why dating is so exhausting.
You're not going to find your soulmate, your beloved in a profile. It's not a checklist.
No,
you're not going to see it there.
Just get excited.
No, but you're setting yourself up to be disappointed.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Yeah.
not consider. Not. It's a really low
Oh my
bar.
God.
Don't talk. Don't. You have a connection. You know you have a date. Great. Next. Get a pipeline. Get a rotation.
No, I do have a pipeline.
Yeah.
I know
So
you
that's
have
fine.
because you're over swiping.
I'm gonna say this.
You have a pipeline.
I'm going to jump in here.
Yeah.
We had a client.
Mhm.
She gets on the phone with us and she says, "Oh, I've got these 2 great prospects and I think they're really great." We're great. How many dates have you been on? "Oh, I haven't met them yet."
Oh, fine.
Right.
Fine.
So that's
Okay.
the extreme.
Fine.
That's the extreme version of that. Where,
Fine.
and this is where people say I was scammed by somebody online,
Yeah.
because this is the extreme
It's still a
example
scam.
of the hope to disappointment roller coaster.
Yes.
You can only get scammed if you're investing your heart before you meet somebody in person.
Good one.
If you don't invest your
Yes.
heart,
Oh.
if you don't put any hope into this picture, into this profile, and it's just okay, there's another opportunity to meet another person and to be curious and
Good
find out what I can
call.
find out.
And here's the cherry on top. Don't be fooled by Zoom or video chat, whatever the hell. Don't be fooled because that is not going to replace it. You have to remember our minds are meaning making machines. So whatever is missing, like if you're just talking to somebody on the telephone.
Yeah.
This is my telephone.
I love that.
Telephone. Yeah. Here's my telephone. Here's the thing. When you're just hearing somebody's voice, your mind is filling in the blanks. You know this. You've talked
Yes.
to somebody on the phone a million times through work or whatever, and then you
Yeah.
meet in person. You're like, oh, that's weird. You don't look like I thought you would.
Yep.
What do you mean? Do you thought I looked like something, right?
Yep.
Because your mind fills in the blanks.
Yep.
Whatever's blank, your mind will fill it in.
Yep.
And when you're dating, you want to stop dating as fast as possible. And so your mind's filling in all these blanks. So in the early part of the dating process, what are y'all doing? You know what you're all doing? You're slanting everything to the positive. And you know what? After 3 to 6 months, some of you then start to fill in the blanks and slant everything towards the negative. Right?
Oh.
Your mind is a meaning making machine. You have to tame your brain for dating. And you tame your brain for dating by saying, I'm going to first put myself in the dating lab so I can evaluate myself. I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah.
I went on a date with a guy, so hot. And I remember parting from this guy. And my inner critic was so lit up. It was like, you did it, and you could have, and you should have, and I was like, oh my God, I never went out with that guy again. I was like, no.
Why?
Because that can't be my person. My person is going to make me feel good about myself when I part from them.
Oh, and you're gonna freaking out already. Like, wait a second, like, oh, it's not gonna call it like me. It's
No,
not
I
like me.
didn't do that.
She was beating herself up.
I could have, and I should have, and I didn't. And I was critiquing myself on the date. The second we parted.
Oh, that is good.
The second we parted, I was reaming myself a new asshole. And I was like, that cannot be my person.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because the person I want to be with is the person that makes me go, oh, I just had such a great time. That was so great.
Self-critic. I had a situationship that ended.
Mhm.
We went on 8 dates. I started getting into a little bit at the end, like being self-conscious, leaving his house. And what did I say the night before? And it's interesting. And then one day, by the way, I asked him out on the 9th date. We're like on the path now with multiple dates. So I say to him, hey, do you want to grab dinner Wednesday or Thursday? Those are my only free days. And he was just like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like not available those days. I have my kid. And I was like, oh, okay, next time. I never heard from him again. Ever. I kept questioning myself coming home and what I'd said and what I've done. And I like that what you said, because I think I can use that. If a guy makes me feel not necessarily inadequate, but am I pleasing enough? Am I good enough? That is a great tool.
If someone is lighting
Because
your inner critic, it can't be your person.
Yeah.
It cannot be.
That's a good one. If anyone lights your inner critic, not your man, not your girl.
But you only discover these things because we could literally sit here for 17 hours and you still wouldn't have all of our tips and tools. So here's the thing. You have to put yourself in the lab to discover about yourself through the dating process.
Yeah.
Through the dating process.
Sarah, we have to go to the lab. Back to school. Okay.
Going back to
We've been doing it all wrong.
We've been doing it all wrong all this time.
Everything's been wrong.
So as you're going on these dates and you're slowing things down because you're paying attention not only to what's going on across the table from you, but what's going on in your own head. You're going to notice that there are thoughts you have that don't encourage you to stay positive in your search for love. Maybe you're beating yourself up, or maybe you have a bad date and you end the whole date by going, I'm never going to find anybody. Why am I wasting my time? This is so
or all the
frustrating.
Good ones are taken.
All the good ones are taken. And here there's only the remainders here in the bin, and I don't want any of these. Right? Whatever the story you're telling yourself, anything we really want from life, whether it's a successful career or fitness or health or love, is going to take us putting some effort towards it happening. It's the bad news, right? We're going to have to do something differently. Everybody's suffering from dating burnout.
Yes.
So we want to stop dating burnout.
Okay, good.
So the way we're going to stop dating burnout is first, we're going to slow down. We're not going to invest yet. We're going to take our time to get to know somebody before we throw our heart in. The second thing we're going to do is when we notice those thoughts that aren't serving us, we're going to interrupt them and we're going to change them. And we have a tool we want to share with everybody to make that happen.
Okay.
Sound like fun?
It does look like fun.
We brought a gift for you.
Okay.
It's our Creating Love on Purpose bracelets. I'm wearing one.
Okay.
So this is made by Soulku, a company out of Asheville, North Carolina. They make sacred gemstone jewelry. There's 2 versions of this bracelet. This one is rose quartz with rose wood, and you have the same one.
Do I put this on?
Yes. So
Okay,
you're
I'm
going to take it off. So I know for
Oh.
me, I had a lot of limiting beliefs. So I'm going to give one of my old limiting beliefs that I had to bust in order to be the person that I am in this relationship with my
Okay.
beloved
Can you
husband.
read down my card now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm into this.
So this is what we call a pattern interrupt. Now you can do this with a fancy bracelet like this, but you can do it with a hair tie, a rubber band, anything that easily moves from one wrist to the
So
other.
you put in this.
You're going to identify one negative thought pattern that you want to break.
Okay.
This is taking something from awareness into transformation. I used to think all men would cheat. So can you identify a negative thought for you that you'd
Yes.
like to change? What is the negative thought?
I am scared of not finding the one.
There you go.
I'm scared time is up.
Oh,
I don't think I'm going to find the one.
I'll never find the one.
There's not enough time to find the one.
I'll never find the one.
Because listen, I'm a serial monogamist. I've been in 3 long relationships.
I'll never.
I'm scared I won't get my 4th.
Oh, you think you only get so many cards still?
I'm afraid that time has run out.
Okay.
So here's what you're going to do.
Here's what you're gonna do.
Okay.
In the morning, you start on the right, or
Uh-huh.
you can start on the left if you want to, but I would say pick one wrist to start.
Yeah.
Now you're going to say to yourself when you put this on in the morning, I'm going to pay attention whenever that thought comes that I've run out of time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to meet the one I've run out of time.
Yeah.
And so throughout the day, you want your awareness to catch yourself. Oh, I just said it again.
Oh.
And every time
my
you
fear.
catch yourself, as soon as you catch yourself, you stop.
Yeah.
You take it off the right wrist while saying cancel.
Cancel.
And now we're going to come up with a new positive thought to say onto the left wrist.
Does it feel
I'm going to meet the love
empowered?
of my life.
How does that feel?
Good.
There you go.
Yeah. I want to meet the
Because
love of my life.
you want the new
Clearly we
thought
haven't- Yeah.
to have as much emotion as the old thought does.
Yes.
So you need the new thought pattern to be either in process
Yeah.
and positive, right? And with emotion.
So I'm going to recap. I will never meet the love of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's my bad one.
Yeah.
Right.
Cancel.
Now
Yeah.
put it on.
And
And I will
I will meet the love of my life.
I will
You need
all day.
Interrupt the pattern
Yeah.
and create the new thought pattern. We'll meet the love of my life. And what happened when you said it, I just saw your face just
You
light up.
relaxed
Right.
and lit up.
And you had this huge grin, and I could see it in your
Yeah.
eyes because, oh, that feels great.
It does.
And now, feeling like this, maybe
Yeah.
you can go on a date with somebody who doesn't give you the ZAZA Zoom, because who knows? Maybe he knows the love of your life. You don't know.
Every person
so you're
knows people
coming-
you haven't met yet.
You're coming with a mindset of curiosity and openness to every experience, because you never know what's going to come of it. Instead of coming with, it has to be this, or I'm wasting my time.
Right.
Because
It's like
that's
rewiring your thought process.
The goal eventually is to not move it for 40 days.
Oh, wow.
And when you don't move it for
Whoa.
40 days, then you can move on to another negative thought and start at the beginning
Oh.
again.
So I have
and
to
moving.
lock this thought down,
Yeah.
and then I can move on to other thoughts. How many years do we have on this planet, Sarah? Hopefully 10,000 years. I think it should be life on purpose, not love on purpose. I find all this beyond helpful. I've been doing this all wrong.
I mean, Anna, you've said several times, oh my God, I have so many things to work on.
Yeah.
And what we want you to understand is you don't have to be perfect to get out there. You don't have to be perfect to find your person. You have to be on the journey, though, of awareness,
Yeah.
of looking at your stuff and being able to take responsibility and shift your thoughts and all that. But it's all part of the process. If you're waiting, because I think this is, one of the dangers that I'm hearing in the way we're talking, is it sounds like I have to do all this work before I'm ever even go on a date.
No, that's not how I see it.
Yeah.
I see, like, I've been watching myself in the funny mirror the whole time, and I just took a step right in a regular mirror. That's how I feel. I
great.
I feel very empowered. I feel I have tools. I feel like I've kind of flipped dating on its head, at least for me, and I'm sure for many people listening and watching.
So the inner shift creates an outer world experience change, because the world is as we believe it to be.
Right.
And so
Always through a lens.
it is
It's always through a lens. We have a phrase that's common in the culture now, confirmation bias. And we usually think about it in terms of how we interpret the news or how we interpret information, but we have a confirmation bias about everything.
Right.
And so when we're able to look at our own confirmation biases and say, boy, should I believe the words I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
We really need to change our own algorithm, because it is what you talked about, bias. The more I scroll in my brain on whatever thoughts I have, the more it's going to feed it.
correct.
So we have to, this is not 100% fact checked, but I do know that it's about 50 to 60 million single people in the United States and 15,000 dating sites. So it is overwhelming. But ultimately, what I'm taking away from this, apart from the 5-6 tools that I can think of, which I will, when I put my understanding of on our website, is that it's still ultimately about yourself. There's just more and more tools and venues, but that is just a tool. It doesn't matter. So you have to refocus on your goals and stop stressing out so much in order to have success with yourself and know what you want to have success out there.
Absolutely. And I think limit your
Great way to say
time.
it.
Don't have the notifications on, and instead dedicate time. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
if when you're feeling good, whatever it is. Maybe you put on a little music, maybe you have a little sip of wine, maybe you do a little dance break, maybe you call a
Maybe a
girlfriend
case of wine.
or you call a guy. No, don't get drunk. That's not good.
Oh,
But
not
instead,
bad.
what you want to do is just be in a good mood, dedicate time. So there's a time in to the app and a time out of the app.
Oh,
Like you
good
said,
tip.
our time is our most valuable resource.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're dedicating time to dating. That means you clock in and you clock out.
Okay, speaking of clocking out, we are out of time. We could sit here with Orna and Matthew forever, but you know what? I gotta go on dates. I have not done anything right. So the rest of the series, we're gonna invite other fellow 40 plus daters and see if they're doing it right. Please tune in for the next episode of Hey Girl You Up. And the answer to that is always. Coming up on Hey Girl You Up, first dates, the chaos, the chemistry, the check, and everything in between.